Hello wonderful person, this is Philip, and in this video I want to share my thoughts on a question that Luke Newman has posed to me. In Hinduism and Buddhism, is there a form of karma that can't be undone? First, I don't know much about Hinduism, so I'm just going to talk about my perspective, which has been almost exclusively shaped by the Buddha's teachings. And then I'm not going to go into the standard answer that you would probably get, because there are certain actions, such as killing your mother or killing your own father, that will have very strong or very definite results. The teaching goes, for example, if you kill your own parents, you will definitely spend your next life in a hell realm. I'm not going to go into that simply because I don't know these things from personal experience. I am not even sure I understand and recollect all those specific teachings correctly. Instead, I want to say something that I think a lot of people will find much more useful than focusing on very specific actions that tend to sound really weird. Like, for example, injuring a Buddha to the point where you draw blood. This is not very relevant to our lives because there is no Buddha that you could injure here. At least in my room, there isn't a Buddha whom I could injure even if I wanted to. So, yeah, that's why I don't want to go into that theoretical stuff. But instead, I want to say something that might surprise lots of people. But the way I understand karma, each and every karma that anyone ever does cannot be undone. Now this cuts both ways. What I mean by that is, if you have done even a slight bit of bad karma, it could be just thinking a useless thought, you cannot undo that. You cannot make it so that you did not actually have that thought. You had that thought. And the result of that thought is going to be with you forever. Now, that said, there is the concept, when you talk about karma, of basically working off the karma, of its fruit having come and just been experienced, and then it's over. This is also very correct. But I think you should really look at it more as anything that you have already done, you cannot change anymore. So specifically, trying to undo a previous action is probably not the most useful thing. I believe you should not try to specifically do something to erase a specific past karma. I think you should focus on the good karma, because what happens is, another way of saying no karma can ever be undone would be to say all karma can be undone, because once the karma, that action, has come to fruition, it'll have run its course, and lots of other karmas will have created lots of other effects. So you'll just continue living your life and be mostly unaffected by what happened a year ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. This is sort of almost self-evident when you think about if you did something bad when you were a child 20 years ago and you got punished for it, so you had some results of that bad action. Now it's not affecting you as much anymore as it did back then. Doesn't mean that you have undone it or that it's ever going to be any different in your past. But I suggest that I would always focus on the present rather than the past, because in the present there is always something good that I can do, that I can actually do. And if I spend my energy in the present thinking about how to specifically counteract some particular past karma, I'm actually wasting energy. Instead, I could be doing lots of good things, because for most karmas, it just works out in such a way that if you do a lot of bad things and a lot of good things, at the end of the day, if you've done more good than bad, you're going to be happier. And if you've done more bad than good, you're going to be unhappier. So really, you could say any good karma will somewhat offset any bad karma. You don't have to do specific karma erasing activities or anything like that. This is just an opinion, so the official teaching just says that at the end of your life, there will have been lots of good karma, lots of bad karma in this life, and in many past lives. There's karma that comes to fruition many, many lives into the future. So out of all those karmas, there will arise mind states, and a particular mind state that arises the moment that you are reborn, that decision is made, so to speak, that is what's going to make the choice where and how you actually get reborn. And it's simply the more good you've done, the higher your chances are of having a good rebirth, because the more likely you're going to have a peaceful and happy and good mind when that point comes where you make the rebirth decision. And the more bad you've done, the more troubled and bothered and unhappy and small and contracted and angry your mind is going to be. And if you're in that mind state, you're going to tend to have a rebirth that accords with that mind state. So I hope you don't find this answer evasive or anything like that. I just want to give you my opinion, because this is something that I do know from personal experience, that it's generally much more beneficial to simply focus on what a good thing, or the best thing, if you want to look at it that way, would be to do now, rather than going back to the past and trying to come up with a plan how to maybe do something that counteracts a specific bad action that you might have done in the past. I think the reason why I have this kind of perspective on it is that at some point I realized that the teaching about rebirth is most likely true, that we have had not just thousands, not just millions, but trillions of past lives. So when you think back how much you have done in this life, and then imagine, well, in some other life you might have been born in a culture or into a family where everyone was in the military and you just joined the military, you were in the military, and then maybe you were in the military of an evil nation and you had to do horrible things. You had to do horrible things, you ended up doing horrible things. Maybe at some point you just were greedy and you killed people to get their wealth. So I think all of us have done lots and lots of those things in the past, even though most of us have not done all or many of those things in this life. But it doesn't really matter all that much whether you've done it in this life or in a past life. A lot of those things come to fruition far into the future, in a future life. So I really wouldn't try to have that attitude. I think it's sort of my Catholic background, or generally my Christian background, that forced me, or sort of persuaded me to think of things that way, to think of, ooh, you're totally pure and totally clean, and then if you do something bad, oh, that's a spot that soils you, and you have to somehow get rid of it. And then of course in Catholicism you can say, oh yeah, God forgives you, and then you're totally clean again. In Buddhism there isn't really that concept of anyone being totally clean. Specifically, if you're a human being now, that means you have done lots of bad things in the past, and also lots of good things in the past. If you have done only good things, you will not be born as a human being. And if you have done only bad things, you will not be born as a human being. As a human being, you know, just by being born human, you know that you have the capacity for anger and greed, and that you have done lots of unskillful things, lots of bad karma in the past. Yep, that's sort of the perspective that I like to have on this. Other than that, you can look up Devadatta. He was the Buddha's cousin, and he did several, if not all, of those, I think it's 5 different karmas that in Buddhism are considered so bad that they guarantee at least one next life that you're going to spend in hell. Basically, you go directly to hell for those karmas. The most relevant for our situation is killing your father or killing your mother. The others revolve around enlightened beings, which are not very common in this world, so I don't even want to talk about them. Frankly, I haven't memorized the exact specifics. I think it's drawing blood by injuring a Buddha, killing an Arahant, which is a lower form of enlightened being, if you will, and causing a schism in the Sangha, meaning causing the community of monks that the Buddha has to be split into two different groups, basically trying to get some monks to follow you instead of the Buddha. These things are not relevant to me personally, not very relevant to me personally, that's why I don't look into them too much. But instead, I tend to always look at what can I do now that is useful. That is my approach to karma. That is probably the advice that I would give as a general approach to karma. So this is probably a different answer from all the others you're going to get to this question, but that's why I gave it, because I feel like I have something to say that is going to be useful to you and probably to other people, that is related to this question. Can karma be undone? Is there a karma that cannot be undone? So thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you in a future video. Have a good day.